So I didn't record any video yesterday. It was basically storm conditions all day and far too windy, and you wouldn't have heard me, and I didn't do an awful lot. But I did go out a little bit in the afternoon and took a few pictures around the lake and at the Krafla power station, which was kind of interesting. Today the weather is much nicer, or it's certainly sunnier, and the wind has dropped off quite a lot. And I'm heading east, so the first stop is Dettifoss waterfall, which I think is one of the most powerful waterfalls in Europe. Obviously the spray on my glasses, I'm nowhere near it yet. So I'm going to walk down this little hillside path if I can, and see what shots I can get. Took my glasses off because I couldn't see, although there's a lot less spray near the waterfall itself. Anyway, I inserted myself into a gap between the photo workshopy types who seem to be trailing me, or I'm trailing them, and they're moderately irritating. Grabbed a couple of shots, basically with and without the long exposure 10-stop filter. So we'll see how those come out. I think blurry waterfalls with a 10-stop are a bit Marmite, in that some people like them and some people hate them and think they're a terrible cliche. But I'll put both up anyway and see what you think. There's also a lovely rainbow over there. So I'm going to go back to a second path that I saw which looks back down that gorge and see if I can get a picture of that. The rainbow had sort of disappeared a bit by the time I got further up, so I didn't get a picture of that in the end. What I have done is a couple of pictures looking back along the gorge there. Where the sunlight is at the minute is quite nice because it's giving some good shadows on the rock face, so hopefully those will come out okay. Anyway, I'm going to head back to the car. I think there is another viewpoint, another kilometre or two up the road, so I'm going to double check in my guidebook and see if that's worth a quick visit. Hello again. So I'm now over in the east of Iceland. I've just had some lunch at a little town called Egilsstadir, I think. And to kill some time before I get to my next hotel or guest house for the evening, I'm doing a walk up to a small waterfall. It's kind of up there, you can't really see it, but part way up I have also stumbled across this little waterfall. So I've used the wide angle lens to shoot from the cliff edge to include the valley over there as well with some nice clouds. So hopefully that'll make a nice shot. And now I'm going to continue walking uphill. The board at the bottom, I reckon this probably takes half an hour at a reasonable pace. So I've been stopped for 5 minutes faffing around taking pictures, so we'll see how long it actually takes me. There's also the odd flurry of snow coming down as well, so that won't help matters. Anyway, I'm back on the footpath. Onwards. Well, I've made it to the top. I've been going about just over 20 minutes, so with 5 minutes taking pictures lower down. I guess it only took me a quarter of an hour to get up here, not the half an hour predicted. That means their estimates are terrible, because it can't mean that I'm in any way healthy. Anyway, there's the waterfall. I'll probably grab a couple of shots from here. It does look like, you probably can't see it, it does look like there's a path that gets a little bit closer as well. I also quite like the view down the gorge in the other direction. You can see down there. So yeah, I'll stop nattering to you and take a few pictures, I guess. Morning. So last night there was a tiny hint of northern lights out of my guest room window, so I grabbed a picture, but the display wasn't strong enough to warrant heading outside and getting dressed again, really. So you join me again today, walking up yet another hill, and this time I'm heading up to another waterfall, Dettifoss. And I first saw pictures of this one online a few years ago, and it sort of falls into a horseshoe shaped canyon, but the rock has these distinctive red stripes running through it, which seems to make for a good photo. So it seemed like it was worth the effort. Also halfway along the walk there's another smaller waterfall, which I think is called Dettifoss. Again, I will put the actual names up on screen, so that'll provide a nice little spot for me to catch my breath, hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now and carry on walking up the hill. Right, I've made it to the first waterfall. It's very pretty. It's a little bluish pool of water at the bottom which it's cascading into, and some nice basalt cliffs lining each side of it. So yeah, I'm going to catch my breath and grab a few photos here before heading on up the hill to the bigger waterfall. So I made it up to the waterfall. It took about 45 minutes in the end. So yet another wildly off estimate, as the little guidebook in my guest house reckons it's an hour and a half. So yeah, maybe time moves differently in Iceland or something. Anyway, I sent the drone up, grabbed a couple of images, took a few with the proper camera as well, and I shall now head back down the hill. There's a couple of other viewpoints that I didn't stop at on the way up, so I may visit on the way down, so a slightly more from afar type view. But anyway, a lovely setting, not too busy. There's a handful of people up here, and I may investigate the little food truck at the bottom of the hill to grab some coffee, if he does coffee, because I made myself a flask before I left. I don't know why I'm telling you this, it's not very interesting. I made myself a flask of coffee before I left, but the flask tends to keep it hot kind of all day, so you can't even drink it for like 3 hours. It's traumatic. Anyway, enjoy the pictures of the waterfall, which I'll put up now. And yeah, next I'm heading off up Route 910, I think it is, which kind of goes up behind me into the highlands, up to a large dam with a nice gorge next to it. So it's about 60 odd kilometres, I think. But although it's a highland road, I think it's a proper tarmac road rather than a shonky old gravel one, to help all the vehicles that need to get to the dam. So, onwards. I didn't make it to the dam. I got about 3/4 of the way there, but the road started to get a little bit snowy. It was fine, but then there was a massive black cloud up ahead of me, and I double checked the weather, and that said it was going to be heavy snow. And given that this thing is still on summer tyres, I decided probably best to abandon that and turn around and get back down to a lower level. So I did grab a couple of images of the big mountain that's at the top here, Snaefell. So it's not a total loss, but yeah, I think head back down to the valley and find some lunch now. So after lunch I've now driven down to a fjord, which the name begins with M. I forget its full name, which was a sort of 20-mile gravel road. But down here there's this cool rusting old shipwreck, which apparently is a US boat, I think, from the war. So I'm going to grab some pictures of that and then head back up. The road down was pretty dramatic. You can't really see it on this camera, but it sort of weaves lots of hairpins down there. And there was a pretty good waterfall on the way down as well. So I'm going to stop and photograph those on the way up. But yeah, first off, get some pickies of this old rusty boat thing.